Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to these World Cup recaps. We finally have the arrival of France, the triumphant arrival of France. After what looked to be potentially a disappointing first half, France turned it on. Michael Olise, Kylian Mbappe, Bradley Barcola turn up, make easy work of Senegal in that second half. Fantastic stuff for them. 3-1, a big performance. As I just mentioned, the first half looked really poor. France started with their expected strongest 11, but as many people have pointed out, despite this stellar front four, Désiré Doué, Ousmane Dembélé, Champions League 2 times winners, Kylian Mbappe, obviously king of the World Cup almost, Olise, arguably the best player in the world this season. Despite this, people look at this midfield of Rabiot and Tchouaméni and criticize it. People look at this defense of Koundé and Théo Hernandez and criticize it. And some of it was worth criticizing. For me, Koundé had a really poor game throughout. I thought defensively, he didn't look great. I thought offensively especially, he was pretty wasteful. In part, it is why that right-hand side of France didn't look all too great until Olise turned it on, because Koundé got the ball extremely high up the pitch and did very little with it. And Doué as well, I think I singled out from the French attackers. I thought both him and Dembélé, well, in general, the entire front four of France had a poor first half, but Mbappe, Olise turned it around. Doué, Dembélé didn't necessarily turn it around, but what I really didn't like about Doué was some of his defensive contribution, and I will touch on that in just a moment. The Senegalese team, I think, no clear standouts in terms of best and worst players. I did really like number 15, the right back, Diatta. I liked what I saw from Nico Jackson as well. Very good movement, very lively, a huge problem for the French defense. Arguably, pretty much the only problem for that French defense, I thought. But ultimately not clinical enough, which we've obviously seen so much from Nico Jackson. At least he didn't get a red card in this game. But starting off this first half, Senegal should have probably gone ahead. I think they should have gone into the dressing room at the 45th minute. Up 1-0 against France. They had the chances to do so. France didn't necessarily have many big chances in that first half. It was mostly a game of poor quality from France, in fact, in those first 45 minutes. From the very get-go, a ball reaches Koundé. He tries to clear it, hacks at it. Not to mention he could have just tried to calm it down and take a touch. He hacks at it. It bounces right to the Senegalese player. Not very good. Not a very good start from Koundé, and I don't think he improved much throughout the game. Another big concern was Kylian Mbappe, and even into the early bits of the second half, he looked abnormally poor. There was some decent movement, but his touches looked awful, to be honest. Here, there was a very good pass drilled through this Senegalese defense. It comes to Mbappe. This is bread and butter for him, but this touch just slips away. And we saw this many, many times from Kylian Mbappe. Either poor runs, poor touches, poor dribbles, poor decisions, muscled off the ball in times where you wouldn't expect it to. He is a pretty strong player after all. Generally, a very poor first half from France, and Mbappe especially. And many people probably didn't expect it to turn around, but it did. Very quickly as well, what allowed Senegal to attack a lot down this right-hand side was Diatta having Doué on toast. Doué, who is normally, first of all, exceptional physically, fast, strong, endurance as well, to be able to sustain both a high volume of attacking and defending. He got eaten alive by Diatta. The amount of times that Diatta got past him extremely simply just by pushing the ball forward, Doué lunging in or half committing, just getting beaten. It didn't look great, and Senegal got many chances down this right-hand side purely off the basis of Doué losing his man far too easily. This didn't necessarily happen in the middle of the park to Dembélé. It didn't happen to Olise on the right-hand side. It was particularly this matchup of Diatta versus Doué, which wasn't very good. And as I mentioned, all the French attackers looked bad in that first half. Mbappe looked disastrous, but Doué as well, I think, off the ball was really poor. Mbappe obviously didn't defend at all, but we've come, to expect that. This right-hand side, France struggled a lot, which is why also we welcomed the great form of Saliba and Upamecano. Both of them, fantastic, incredible. Upamecano, for me, the best player in that first half. Honestly, the only French player alongside Saliba being good, who I think deserve to walk into that changing room pleased with themselves. Those back two. Everyone else, yeah, not good enough. Maybe Rabiot. He was all right as well. Senegal took advantage of that. They created quite a bit. There was this good chance from Nico Jackson early on. Heel flick in behind. Sells Saliba very well. Saliba obviously jockeying there, but very, very good trickery from Nico Jackson. But here again, Upamecano, the crown over his head. The king of that French defense, even back when he was poor for Bayern, making mistake after mistake, he was always great for France. Now coming off the back of a phenomenal season for Bayern, you can expect Upamecano to be tremendous at this World Cup. You cannot expect anything less. Will he finally get those mistakes out of his system? He largely has for France. He mostly has for Bayern. He will hope that he goes through this entire World Cup spotless. It's a good start. Very, very good first game. Upamecano here, ball in behind. Senegalese player running at speed. It finishes with Upamecano getting possession. Senegalese player running in behind. It finishes with Upamecano in possession. He was so good defensively at reading those runs in behind, one-on-one situations, and also his contribution on the ball. Not much progression in that French backline. Tchouaméni, not good enough progressing it. Saliba, good, but he gave control to Upamecano. Koundé, Theo Hernandez, not good enough as well in the playmaking department. Upamecano was bossing it out the back. And the one slight downside to his performance, he did get beaten by Nico Jackson at one point, who managed to get separation for a shot. And it was a very good shot. And it bounced off the post and then off of Maignan's leg. And it could have gone in. And Senegal could have been 1-0 up. Very much so. And then a second chance, even more unfortunate that it didn't go in. This time, less bad fortune and more bad quality, I would say. This chance should be going in any day of the week. And Senegal should be going into that first half, or out of that first half with a 1-goal lead. At which point the game could have looked different. But again, you don't take your chances against France, you get punished. That was the end of the fun times. Kylian Mbappe turns it on. Michael Olise turns it on. Before any of the goals happened, there was this penalty decision, which controversially got ruled not a penalty. I don't really understand it. There might be an angle I haven't seen. I'm not going to dwell on it too much because I think you can go watch a slow-mo replay, all the angles, make your mind up for yourself. But to me, it does look like the hip of Sadio Mane makes contact with Mbappe. Mbappe as well, what I will point out is this is not one of those fouls where there is contact, but the player has to dive to sell it. Mbappe looked very much like he wanted to keep going and just fell over because of the contact. But this didn't get given, and France were not happy, but they weren't unhappy for too long because they started dominating. There was this first chance from Michael Olise, brilliant run in behind from Kylian Mbappe. Olise passes it in. Mbappe wastes it. Mbappe doesn't finish, fluffs up his touch. Still, people were thinking, this might be an Mbappe that stays quiet today. This might be an Mbappe that doesn't score. But unfortunately, he gets the second pass from Olise, a second phenomenal delivery, and this time he doesn't waste it. Fantastic run in behind that Senegalese defense. Fantastic pass. And Kylian Mbappe finishes. Bottom corner. Not much that Mendy can do about it. And that was about it. At this point, Senegal push up, leave some bigger spaces, trying to convert this game, trying to come back into it, sorry. Bradley Barcola, who had come on the pitch just moments earlier, runs in behind. Rabiot, great pass in behind. And for once, we see Bradley Barcola with a great finish. A chip over Mendy. Fantastic goal. Great for him. And I did say, he creates so many chances. The finishing can improve a bit with more game time, with more consistency. But even if he doesn't, his running in behind is phenomenal. His movement is phenomenal. The chances he puts himself in are fantastic. Arsenal should be all over him. Liverpool probably going in for him as well. He will be a fantastic pickup for whoever gets him. I would honestly love for Bayern to go for him as well. Senegal did look like they could crawl something back. Mbappe in the 94th minute here sits down Theo Hernandez, smashes it in. Maignan could have done a bit better. It bounces off of him into the goal, but it was a powerful strike, a great dribble. He did very, very well, Mbappe, to get into this position. And just as Senegal were hoping, maybe for a hectic last 3 minutes or so, the ball falls to Mbappe. He slams it in from way outside the box. 3-1. Kylian Mbappe gets his 2 goals. He'll be delighted with that. He leapfrogs Messi in the World Cup all-time top scorer sheet. And it does look like Miroslav Klose's record is going to fall, those 16 goals at the World Cup, which he obviously set in 2014. It's going to get broken, obviously. Kylian Mbappe now on 14 goals, Messi on 13. Both of them might break it, but definitely at this rate, at the rate he's going, Kylian Mbappe will, especially with the service Michael Olise is giving him. In my France preview, especially when I touched on their warm-up game against Ivory Coast, I said Kylian Mbappe and Michael Olise have a very good understanding. Phenomenal runs from Mbappe, phenomenal deliveries from Olise. If that partnership keeps going, France could go all the way, and we know that France can go all the way. A great performance against Senegal. I think very encouraging for France that they were able to turn it around after a really poor first game. And yeah, this spot one in the group does look pretty secure. You would expect that they can beat the remaining teams in this group. Norway could still be a challenge. We will keep our eyes on this Iraq versus Norway game, which kicks off in about 5 minutes. And France, if they do finish first in the group, again, we've spoken about this, the bracket isn't the kindest. They are on the same side of the bracket as Spain, assuming everyone wins the games they're expected to win. Not just that, but that round of 16, if France top their group and Germany top their group, round of 16, France versus Germany, likely to be a very tough game for both teams. As much as France will go into that as favorites, I'm not sure they'd want to face Germany that early on. If you look, some of these other round of 16 games are a bit easier. But in any case, France will feel very, very good about themselves because that was a statement performance. I will say, I haven't spoken enough about Senegal. I think they looked very good. There's a reason they won that AFCON title on the pitch at the very least. They looked very good. Several players looked very positive. Some decent impact off the bench as well. And I will say Senegal can definitely try to mount a challenge for second place in the group. Senegal-Norway is going to be an incredibly interesting game, but we will learn more about what we can expect from Norway after this game, which I will also cover. I will also talk about. Stay tuned for that. For the time being, I'm off to go watch Erling Haaland at this World Cup. Super excited to have covered this game. I thought Olise looked phenomenal. You've got the Bayern kids behind me. You know how much I love this man. May he continue this way, and may this World Cup bring him a Ballon d'Or if fate chooses to do so. I would absolutely not be opposed to it. In any case, thanks for watching. Goodbye.